Oftentimes, it helps to know the suspect's social interests, hobbies, or other lifestyle indicators. You may be able to track him or her through an organizational membership or other interests. You can help the left-behind parent with the preparation of a missing child poster. Remember to use the investigator's phone number, designated hotline, as well as the appropriate FBI office as the contact point. Never give the parent's home phone number on the poster. Never. If you encounter a situation where the suspect takes the child out of the country, it'll be necessary to familiarize yourself with that particular country's laws concerning child custody. You'll need to obtain an international arrest warrant. Utilization of extradition treaties and the Hague Convention may be appropriate. Be aware that when dealing with foreign nationals or citizens with dual citizenship, children may travel on their parents' passport. You'll also want to contact Interpol, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the U.S. Department of State for assistance in these cases. This will include preparation for the possible return of the child through law enforcement, civil law, or diplomatic channels. Contact Interpol if the child is out of the country, in case there will be criminal proceedings against the suspect parent. They will assist you in any questions you may have regarding the case. Now let's take a closer look at the closure of one of these cases. When the child is recovered, you'll want to make the arrest away from the victim. It would be wise to keep both parents from being in the same room together, as tensions will be quite high. This is a very traumatic time for the child, so it's a good idea if you have to arrest one of the parents that it not be done in the presence of the child. You may have to contact Child Protective Services, juvenile or family court in the event that the child was abused or neglected by the abductor or there are safety issues involved. It's important that you conduct a thorough interview with both the child and the abductor. Make sure that you document the results of this interview and involve all of the appropriate agencies. Try and provide some effective reunification techniques before bringing together the child and parents, such as meeting with both parties separately to discuss what has happened. Speak in a low, soothing voice, away from large numbers of people, the media, and so on. There are several helpful publications regarding reunification. You may order one by simply calling 1-800-VANISHED, and one can also be found in the workshop manual. Now let's examine the most common way children can be reported as missing, involving the runaway or voluntarily missing child, occurring several 100,000 times per year.
No, Dad, you can't do that to me. This is homecoming weekend.
I can.
And it's just like, that's my homecoming dance. I already have my dress, and John already asked me to go. What am I going to tell him?
I don't care. You go upstairs and do your homework.
Dad, you're such a jerk. Do you know that?
Don't you dare call me like that. Come back here. You. Don't you run away from me. Come back here.
You're such a jerk, Dad.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I always will be true. When your daddy's dead and gone, I'll sing this lullaby. What becomes of all the little boys who never comb their hair? They're lined up all around the block on the nickel over there.
Oh, sure. I'll tell you it. Okay, when is that going to be?
What becomes of all the little boys
All right. Yeah, sure.
who run away from home? The world just keeps on getting bigger when you get out on your own.
Hey, where are you headed to?
Takes you where
It's great.
sleeping with a pillow man.
Hi.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
Hi.
Officer Armwood.
Hi.
How can I help you?
My daughter, I think, is missing. She may have cost it. I don't know. I think I may have lost it too. I don't know.
Okay, what did she have on?
She's usually very neat, but
So her room normally don't look like this.
no, not with books.
Check the scene thoroughly. Determine the safety zone. If they have a computer with internet capabilities, check their email files. Begin by checking your agency's records for recent contacts with the child. Make sure you've covered all of the bases. There are a few things you'll need to do if the investigation looks like it's going to be a prolonged one. Look for prior reports of abuse or neglect. Interview the child's friends and siblings. Check for leads at the school. Interview teachers and other school personnel. Talk to the child's classmates. Check the contents of their school locker. Determine if they were depressed or suicidal. Determine if they were drug or alcohol dependent or users. Go back and review all of the steps from the initial responder. You will also want to develop an accurate assessment of the child. Ask your instructor about the Victim Family Data Collection Questionnaire found in the workshop manual. You will have to update the NCIC entry with all current information on the case. You may also want to consider upgrading the NCIC entry to endangered if warranted by using the unusual or critical missing child factors. It's a good idea to keep the family busy. Help them with a project like developing a missing child poster. Have them include a personal message, such as, "We can work it out, love Mom and Dad." You can also reach out through some of the nonprofit child locator organizations for some assistance. Your concern and interaction with the family is important. They will most likely be very distraught, especially for the first-time runaway. There are some important steps that you'll need to take when the child is recovered. Let's take a look at this checklist of possible interview questions. Why did the child leave? Where did the child go? How did the child survive? Who helped the child during their absence? Will the child leave again? If the answer is yes, how can you prevent it in the future? Refer to a counseling agency specializing in family therapy. If there was an allegation of sexual assault, foul play, or other factors that make it seem warranted, immediately obtain a comprehensive physical examination. After that is done, make the family aware of some community counseling services that could help deal with any unresolved issues. As in the past, make sure you cancel all alarms and remove the case from the NCIC. And last but not least, there is the paperwork that needs to be finished. Here's a phone number you will want to remember. By calling the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, you can request technical assistance with these cases. We've already spoken about some of the agencies you'll be in contact with regarding these cases. Now we'll look at the role other agencies play in missing child investigations. One of those agencies that you may work closely with is the Department of Social Services. In simple terms, we're talking about Child Protective Service workers. They'll play an important role in certain phases of these investigations. As police officers, we're responsible for the investigation of crime in these cases. The Department of Social Services is responsible for the welfare of the child. Let's look at a possible situation. An injured homeless teenager is picked up by an emergency medical services unit. The hospital will probably contact the police and Child Protective Services.
Is the patient ready to be interviewed?
Maybe.
It could be a situation where there are injuries and there is no parent or guardian with the child. The hospital will probably contact the police and Child Protective Services.
The police are out of it with the exception of the investigation.
Exactly.
Remember that it's the hospital's job to treat the child's medical needs. It's your job to investigate the case, and it's the police and the Child Protective Service workers' responsibility to investigate possible child abuse neglect if the facts warrant it. If abuse or neglect is substantiated, it's Protective Services' job to get the child placed in a safe environment. Know your responsibility Any person who suspects a child has been or is being mistreated must report the matter to protective services or the police. Any person who, in good faith, makes a report of abuse or neglect is immune, again I say immune, from civil liability or criminal penalty. We've worked closely with the Department of Human Resources in the development of this video. Whether you're a police officer, paramedic, or hospital staff, there are warning signs that are directly related to child abuse and neglect. Let's look at the signs for physical abuse. Physical indicators could include bruises or marks on any child, including areas of the face or any other part of the body. There may be unusual patterns, for example, a belt buckle, fly swatter, handprints, or they're clustered in one area or one side of the body. You may encounter burns caused by immersion in hot liquid. Other burns could be inflicted by the use of cigarettes or hot irons. Welts, cuts, abrasions, fractures, and internal injuries may be signs of abuse. With these type of injuries, they should be of concern when coupled with some other physical or behavioral indicators. Difficulty in sitting or walking, presence of a sexually transmitted disease such as gonorrhea, syphilis, and human immune deficiency virus, HIV, pregnancy, repeated symptoms of medical problems to the genitals or digestive system, unusual bruising on areas such as the inner thighs or covering the mouth, unusual sexual behavior or knowledge in a very young child, nightmares, repeated runaway incidents. Parents exhibit extreme overprotectiveness, overly interested in a child's social and sexual life. Parents see the child as highly sexualized, high degree of jealousy toward the child. Now let's look at signs of child neglect. Physical indicators could include poor hygiene, inappropriate clothing for weather conditions, malnutrition, bloated bellies, small stature for their age. Rashes may indicate the presence of ringworm or impetigo. We recommend that you study the warning signs of physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, and mental injury. Remember that missing and exploited and abused children are everyone's business, whether we're ordinary citizens, police officers, human service workers, healthcare providers, teachers, or clergy. Our goal is to avoid tragedies such as these, and when they occur, resolve them quickly without additional harm to these children. Children are our future, and we need to care about them. As a society, we cannot tolerate child abuse, neglect, abduction, or exploitation. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions concerning this topic or this video, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, your state's clearinghouse for missing children, or any other credible missing child organization.
It was a day like any other day when you walked out the door. See you later, and you were on your way, just like the day before. But the night brought a chill with the setting of the sun, 'cause you didn't come back and my world came undone when you didn't come home today. I went searching for you when you didn't come home today. I did all that I could do. Then I got down on my knees and I learned how to pray. When you didn't come home today. It's been a night like every other night. When daylight disappears, I wish I'd never let you out of my sight. As I fight my growing fears, are you cold? Are you hungry? Are you hurt and alone? I'd give anything I could if you just call me on the phone, but you you. No, you didn't come home today, and I did all that I could do. Then I got down on my knees, I began to pray. When you didn't come home today, is there something I can do to find my way to you? Is there some way you can see to find your way to me? 'Cause you didn't come home today, and I went searching for you. No, you didn't come home today, and I did all that I could do. Then I got down on my